Hi there, Andrea here, coming to you with another Vesica reading. I have my assistant, Dakota, over here, keeping me on task because I tend to go down rabbit trails. You know how that goes. I already have our cards out and I began already reading and tapping back into my channel. I've had a really productive weekend, but it's been all very mental. I've been editing video and getting my YouTube channel in order. And it's nice after a very productive and long weekend to come back into this channel right here and bring you a reading. The archetype, the major arcana that we are bringing into equilibrium today is Judgment. And look at those censored. Yay, look. I can put non-nudity on my channel. That's so great. All right, so when Judgment is elsewhere in a reading, in maybe a supporting energy, it might call to attention our fear of judgment of people here in this realm, and that's a very common thing to feel. But right here in the center, needing equilibrium, I'm gonna go ahead and call it what it really is, and that is life's mission. Yes, the purpose of your life, soul contract, whatever label you want to put on that, but it is your moral and ethical imperative to complete something while you're here on the earth. Let's take a look at how we can bring this energy into equilibrium. I'm going to go on the horizontal plane first here. Both of these, they mean potential, right? These are a bunch of choices, potential choices. And this is just possibilities, things that you can do. Sometimes we tend to get overwhelmed with choices. I know I have certainly fallen into that trap many times in my life, getting overwhelmed by choices, and it causes you to kind of freeze up. And it's this wave of emotion that we've talked about in the past, like it's overwhelming. You can drown from this overwhelming thought of, what can I choose on this beautiful buffet of things? And then on the other side, like I said, it's possibilities, but these are actions. This guy's actually taking action on some of his choices. He's starting to build something, and he has every intention to go out there and do it. And I think the equilibrium we're seeking here in context with our life's mission is, it can be so many things. We shouldn't feel overwhelmed. If we're feeling overwhelmed, it's not coming from our channel. If we're feeling overwhelmed, it's coming from somewhere here in the ego, in illusion of other people and their opinions and what they're accomplishing in comparison, which is, it's all ego, but it's really easy to get overwhelmed when you're in this space. But if you come here into this non-YouTube channel, this channel right here, although I will say, you know, you hear YouTubers say like and subscribe, it helps the channel. Well, it does help this channel, because the more people I connect with, the more energy I can bring into this collective. And as long as I'm staying right here, then I won't get overwhelmed by that. So back to this. It's very easy for us to get overwhelmed. It's also very easy for us to get task-oriented and get really rigid with our behaviors and not look at the big picture and see possibilities. So I think what we're being called to bring into balance, again, is this sense of being overwhelmed and sense of being completely underwhelmed and task-oriented. We're supposed to be somewhere in the middle. And like I've said before, not everybody's supposed to be the very center of the Venn diagram when we're talking about accessing these energies. Some people are going to be on the woo-woo, getting caught up in the ideas because they require that excitement. I certainly require some excitement in order for me to take action. And then some people are going to be a little more task-oriented. And, you know, this is where collaboration can be a really good tool. But in our own lives, somewhere on that spectrum is going to be the right balance for us. And you'll know when you're at your own center. Now let's take a look at the vertical plane, since I keep making this motion. Let's take a look at the vertical plane here. We have a noob. You know, I like to call the pages noobs because they're they've finished their sort of internal struggle and they've gotten through the numbers, and now they're out there in the world offering up things. And what are we doing? Well, we're working on our life's mission here. And this guy is like just ready to go out there and make a bunch of mistakes. And mistakes are good. I will never say that mistakes aren't good, because every mistake is a lesson that you can learn. However, when we bring the energy down here, this guy's, he's a hoarder. So when we're talking about worldly possessions, material possessions, this guy is hoarding one of them right here, and he's like, don't touch it. And he's got two under his feet. He's like, no, you can't touch those either. I know this one's on my head. Like, leave my stuff alone. We can get really wrapped up in this and be really rigid here too. Like, we were rigid over here, we're rigid over here. This guy might be a little too gung-ho, and he needs to dial it down a little bit. And this guy doesn't want to make any changes because he's stuck and he's a little cynical. He's a little bit of he's stubborn. He needs to be maybe a little more fluid, the way the Page of Swords is. So here's the balance. Going out and trying some things and thinking some new things up, and embracing that noob energy, and not getting too rigid, but not being so noob that we make a ton of new mistakes that we've already made. Does that make sense? Does it make sense that you've already made enough mistakes? We don't need to keep making a lot of mistakes. Make some. Don't go too crazy, but don't be so rigid that we're not moving anymore and we're hoarding. So yeah, I think that's it. The day of reckoning, the day of judgment with censored. Thank you.